going on? We got another episode coming to y'all. I'm Kay.
I'm Chaz.
And we got a special guest. 1Nation is in the building, y'all. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, this is gonna be a super epic episode. I'm looking at the wrong thing, but we're gonna keep it rolling. We got a super epic episode coming to y'all today, man. 1Nation, super big around the city. Mentoring the young kids, young adults, and you know that's all what we about, right? We got black men coming together, teaching y'all wealth and excellence, all coming from different backgrounds, and we still here today talking to y'all alive, well, and well paid off, I'm sure, you know what I mean? But all those stereotypes, like, we made it through, so I hope y'all gonna enjoy this episode, receive the information, and without further ado, y'all, 1Nation is in the building.
Let's go.
Can y'all introduce yourselves, set it off, you know what I mean? Talk to us about your individual processes in life real quick and how y'all met each other, and then we just gonna take it off from there.
Yeah. I was working.
Yeah.
Brother Lloyd, with my brothers with 1Nation, man, we came, I ain't gonna say too much, but we came together 2013 through the Hines Endowments, the Hines Fellows program.
Okay.
And ever since then.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, Brother Kev, still building with you guys. Happy to be here, man. Blessed to be part of my amazing group. Trying to make a difference every way that we can. And again, like Brother Lloyd said, we've been doing the work since about 2013, but been connected in different ways before that. But now we're building way beyond where we started at. So it's a blessing to be here.
Okay.
Brother Sam, like the brother said, we've been doing it since 2013. Definitely appreciate y'all for having us, having us on the show, giving us a platform. Like they said, we've been together since 2013. We really started out as a Hines Fellowship, which was a 2-year partnership that we had, or that was going through the Hines Endowments. And really what it was is they were looking for 10 African American males to be placed in the school because they wanted to increase the rate of black male teachers in the schools.
Oh, nice.
So it was a nationwide search, and we were fortunate enough to be 3 to 10 that were picked to go into the schools. We were at 3 different schools.
Wow.
And
that's how y'all met after that?
Yeah, so I knew them. I knew both of them separately before that.
Okay.
Lloyd, I was in Investing Now. He was in Upward Bound, so we met back in high school on his campus.
Okay.
And Kay, that's one of my best friend's first cousin.
Okay.
So once he moved up here, we kind of linked automatically, and then we both went to Slippery Rock too. So
That's so y'all signed up for the Hines Fellowship separately. Did y'all tell each other, let's all sign up for this together?
I think me and him might have known that we was applying, but really didn't know. I didn't know Lloyd. I didn't know Lloyd.
I wasn't even going to do it at first. It was kind of last minute. Like, I got somebody presented the opportunity to me. And I read it, I'm like, I don't know about it. And then last minute, I ended up putting my stuff in.
Nice.
And see where it take you today.
Right.
Yeah. And that was a nationwide search. I think there was 210 applicants, and out of those 210, we was 10. Out of the 10.
Brothers and shows us and social.
1Nation.
You know what I'm saying?
So we was in the room though. It was like 16. I'm like, man, I know. But that's my man. I said, he's in. And I know that was his man. I was like, he's in. So I was like, I know I'm better than at least 9 more.
So y'all was working at different schools?
Yeah.
What schools was you working at?
I was at Westinghouse.
Okay.
Yeah, I was at Brashear.
And I was at Pittsburgh Obama.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's dope that when we started the program, our first initial program, we kind of took the best socialization skills they were doing at Westinghouse, took the best academic supports they were doing at Obama, and we kind of merged them, did a hybrid program and housed at Brashear. That way we can kind of see what was going on, who responded to what, and then from there we know what to do, and we'll just make changes kind of.
Nice. So currently you have a contract with Pittsburgh Public, correct?
Yes, that's one of our
You want to tell us about that contract and what school you're doing it with?
Yeah, so right now we have one of our contracts is with PPS, and we provide Pittsburgh Share mentorship, academic support, life skills, and we also teach a class called Leader in Me.
Okay.
We show students the best way to be themselves, to make an impact amongst their school body. You know what I mean? So many people want to be other people, but I think that we can show people who we are, we can create the influence that we already want and that we already have. You know what I mean?
What are some of the conversations y'all have to bridge those gaps between y'all and the young adults? Because I know y'all a lot older. They see us as old heads, and you know what I mean. Like, how do you change that narrative on a day-to-day basis?
I think the biggest thing is that we listen. So it may not even be topics that we want to hit on, but brother, what's going on with you? And a lot of times the direction of the conversation is from them, and we listening and we just try to impart our knowledge on it. But if we don't know, we let them know we don't know. You know what I mean? But before all that trust has to be built in order to even have a young man open up about what's going on with him.
I think that's very important because I work in the school system too, and you have a lot of people that like to lecture and like to tell you what to do and all that, but sometimes you gotta let them talk.
Yeah.
So you can have that interest in them too. They want to know that, I'm a human, you know what I'm saying? I have feelings and, I have things to talk about as well. So I think that's very important, very, very important.
And I think one of the, like to hit on what you just asked, I think one of the things that makes it easier for us is we're ourselves all the time.
Yeah.
Like we come into the space
Yeah.
just like this, you know what I mean? And we talk to them just how we talk. So it's not like nothing's forced, nothing's fake, and they can read that.
Right.
It's
They
natural.
definitely can read it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They can read it quickly and then they'll exploit it on you, you know what I'm saying? If you're gonna be one of them people that's always gonna give them something, all right, I'm gonna use this to my advantage.
Right.
You're gonna go get me snacks and chips every time you come here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They love their hot chips, you know what I'm saying? So you're gonna get the big bags of hot chips every trip. You thinking you making a connection, but you just getting played.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of people don't even realize that.
No, one of our mentors told us when we first started, Dr. Tony Mitchell, he said, kids don't care what you know until you know how much you care. And I think that really hit home because from us telling kids to do something good that they know they should be doing, to go to class, or just being them best selves, once they know we're listening to them to really understand where they are, it also stops them from just telling us anything.
Yeah.
Because when you tell us something, we're listening to you.
Yeah.
We're also going to shoot it back to you. So you can't just tell us something you think we want to hear. No, I can't be listening.
Yeah, because I'm gonna say it right back, and you'll be like, did I say that for real?
We only talk about what you said.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
So, you know what I mean? And understanding is a pillar of our program too. Like we want to understand. You know what I mean? It ain't too much. We tell you what's right or wrong because we had them discussions, but it's like we want to understand.
Definitely understand it.
Listen
So,
to respond and not to like just to answer.
Yeah.
Definitely
They
listen
wanna know
to
that you're
comprehend
paying
and
attention.
respond. Definitely not to answer because people they look at you, hear you talk, they still have what they want to say and
Facts.
just go.
Go,
Like,
yeah.
bro, if you can't anything I just said, like, what you talk about? So
Every day.
talk to us about your 3-step approach in the school. It's like in-school mentoring, out-of-school mentoring, and a summer enrichment program, if I'm not mistaken. You want to talk to us about that too?
Yeah, so our first year as Hines Fellow, our second year as Hines Fellow, it was coming to an end. So we knew we had to do something. But we saw that kids were being dope during the school year, but during the summertime, a lot of them was falling back down and needed additional enrichment from the summertime to get back on track for school. So we said, no, we're in school already, we're providing that path. We're supporting them outside of school, but in the summertime, whatever we told them, some of them are losing those skill sets. How can we make sure that we got them? How can we make sure we continue to build, but also get them more things that they need to get to the next level? Again, it's not only about information, it's about the right information, but it's also about being able to utilize the information to get you to the next level. I mean, that way you're not just hearing stuff, but you're hearing stuff you can actually use.
Do y'all do after school programs too?
Right now we don't. What we want to do is partner get more community partners. That way we're making sure any person who's in our program, we can cycle them to the next space. That way they can be supported by more places than just us. Again, it's dope to have us in your life, but you got 6 of us, you know you're not falling through the cracks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Facts.
All right.
So, I think that was a good segue for that too.
Yeah, that was a good segue. So which direction did I go? All right, so y'all work with the young adults, right? I know it's hard, right? Tell us about the importance of exposing them to different careers outside of like just the generic basketball and football. Like, what does that opportunity from your mentoring look like in that moment? You know.
So the importance of it is real. Like, we know it's huge because you only know what you know.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you don't, I mean, you might be the greatest chess player in the world, but if you never introduced to the game of chess and never taught how to play chess, we might have lost out on the greatest chess player in the world.
Right.
So,
100%.
like, we like to tell them to keep their options open, keep your mind open. Like, go into everything with an open mind. There might be an opportunity that you hear about right now, and it might not fully interest you right now, but if you think about it and how you can pay off in the future, then you might want to line yourself up to take advantage of the opportunity. So one of the things we preach is to always come to things with an open mind.
Yes, you should.
And how do you set them up to have the work ethic to like go in that career? Because they'd be like, oh yeah, I want to do this, and won't pick up a book, won't invest it in their spare time.
Let me say this. Real tough conversation, man. Tough conversation because you also have to realize some kids, although they want to do well, their parents don't push them to do well, right? So when you have high expectation but low support, you ain't gonna make it.
Yeah, you
Right,
can't be in the middle.
100%.
Right, and sometimes a lot of people who they call the saviors have high expectations but low support. You can't get it.
Yeah.
So we got to not only tell them they can do great, but also give them the keys that they need to be great. That way they can see it as reality. Because if not, a lot of them get burnt out because they see their favorite players, person, and the people that looked up to his kids outside on the corners at times, or not being the best version of themselves. So it's not just knowing; it's about also providing them the access to the avenue to be great.
That's crazy you say that, because I'm thinking like, you got kids that have these grand dreams and stuff like that. They might want to do well, but nobody in their family is really pushing them.
Yeah.
So like they rely on their homeboys or they rely on other peers, and those peers may not be the most positive ones. So what they gonna do? Fall right back into the stuff that everybody else is doing.
Easy.
You know what I'm saying? And like times you got kids like now, they don't really have an identity. And they really suffering from an identity crisis. You know what I'm saying? Because they following what's trendy, what's popping, and what everybody else is doing, what's socially acceptable. You know what I'm saying? Like running around with a gun, doing all this other stuff that's socially acceptable. Yeah, sometimes we get why people do that, but at the same time, that's not something we should make a norm in our community. You know what I mean? Like,
in our office on our board, the first two questions you see is who are you and how do you know?
Say it again one more time.
Who are you and how do you know?
Nice.
Because so often we think we are the rappers on TV. We think we are Ja Morant, could go hoop, but we want to keep the joint on us. There's so many different things that we think we are when we really don't know who we are. And if we look at our social media and different things that show who we aren't who we think we are.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And then
So-
we change day to day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
5 years from now, y'all are the same people. We not none of us are the same people we were 10 years ago.
Gotta
So it's
evolve.
like you got to. It's just all about that. But you had mentioned up a point where it was about you talking about the families, right? The moms and everything. Like, tell us, how do you think not having a father in the home affects just kids in general?
I think that's a big. I think not having a healthy family is the most important thing. But not having a father in the household is a big role, because if you don't have a man there to tell you certain things, when other people outside the household try to tell you certain things, you don't really listen to it. Of course, every man loves their mom. Yeah, I do this for my mom. But when it comes to the male, that level of respect isn't their time. But at times, you'll also disrespect your mom. So if there's nobody that holds you accountable,
or check you.
or check you, right, you can begin to believe what you're doing is normalized. So as you go out through the world, you'll begin to do things that you shouldn't be doing, and we'll continue to make unhealthy communities. You know what I mean? So
100%.
that's just my ideas on it.
Yeah, I feel like the fathers play a major role just for that simple fact of holding the kid accountable, right? Because you don't want the police 5 or 12 holding them accountable for a simple mistake, and y'all know how the rest of those stories tend to be, you know. So definitely really important.
Well, just hit on that topic though. I know it's important for the black males, but it's also extremely important for our young black, you know what I'm saying, young ladies,
of course,
having fathers, you know what I mean?
So, of course, yeah, because you don't want them to be thinking
right
like
here.
this the next regular restaurant or the next dinner date is just like where it should be. Like, nah, you need to take this up another couple levels. You know
But
what I mean?
it, like, I love my father, shout out, you know what I'm saying, the Big Lloyd, but if there was someone to show me what not to do, it would have been that, you know what I mean? So I was able to see, like, okay, you know what I mean, that's not how it should be, it should really be. But it's not the be all end all though.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
Everything is fixable, man.
Yeah,
I feel like that
man.
for most things. You know what I mean? That's Rico is expected.
I want to shout out Tom to jump in a little bit on y'all summer enrichment program. What are some activities you do with the kids that can help them expose them to different things?
Our summer enrichment program, like even before jumping into like the things we were doing, I think just the basis of it was so dope, because we were able to bring kids from all over the city and have them in one program on the Hill District. Like we literally had kids tell us, like, if it wasn't for this program, like I'd have never been cool with him. Like I'd have never tried to get cool with somebody from the north side.
I love that.
You know what I mean? So like even before the programming, just that in itself was so big and so monumental. It's like it was crazy. But as far as the programming, like we've gone out of town, we've gone on college tours, we've had different professionals come in and talk about their professions and talk about what they do in life, and if this might be something you're interested in, I'm here to be a mentor in that field. Yeah, so it was
state parks,
definitely.
like going to park, like
Lloyd, Frank Wright, Falling Waters.
and
And it was dope because we took some kids from the hill there, and as we were going out that way, they didn't even know where we were going. We was leaving past the Monroeville, and like, where we at? And I'm
Ain't
from
that a
Charlotte.
shame though? Like I heard some of the kids that never really even left their neighborhood. Like, you know what I mean?
And that's why, like you said, when we had kids from the north side with kids from Homewood, they was like, now I can go to Homewood and feel safe. I never go over there. without knowing somebody, but now because we're in the program, this is my brother. You know what I mean? So
I
it's
can
dope
go
for
across
us
neighborhoods.
to be able to cross bridges and connect people like that.
But why is that? Like, that's not the first time I heard Pittsburgh. Like,
That's different.
Oh, no,
yeah,
that's a fact, bro.
but like, but is that like just like how did that come about? Like, where we just don't
Yeah,
roll across to the
And I
other side of
think,
the bridge?
like to your point, I don't even think it's something we think about. Because I didn't go over to the west side until I was an adult.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
I'm from the east side.
and I love the west side.
I never went over there until I was an adult. Like, I never had a reason to. I mean, so like why it doesn't happen, I'm not sure. Like I don't know, but it's real.
Transportation though too, you know what I mean? Like a lot of that's symptomatic too. So if ain't no bus route, where you going? You know what I mean?
Nobody taking
So,
3
exactly
buses to get to the west side.
That's crazy.
That's crazy for that.
Definitely
But
different
growing up in the
town.
south side, I know a lot of homies never went to the north side. And it's like,
That's not far though.
No, that's right there. That's right there.
Like,
That's
yeah,
right there.
like that's crazy because like you can get most places in Pittsburgh. What I noticed
20 minutes.
in 20 minutes, take
Everything
you
is
28. You know what I'm saying?
If ain't no traffic, you good.
Not fast. Yeah, traffic.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna tell y'all something real quick. Traffic ain't traffic out here. You know what I mean?
You
can still get home in
going into the
45
tunnel.
minutes.
Going into the tunnel, that traffic kind of crazy. I don't be liking that.
It's the same tunnel, y'all. It's the same.
All right, I got a real question.
It's the same
Y'all had
line.
tunnels in New York.
Yeah, the Lincoln Tunnel.
Lincoln, but our traffic was just
It's
due to
jam-packed.
stupidity.
Right, but
and
there's-
so many people on the road.
But it don't get clogged up right before the tunnels. Or do.
Nah, yeah, Lincoln. I mean, if you leave in the city,
Yeah.
All right.
that's the only
I
place
feel
we really
better.
got
I thought it was in Pittsburgh.
No.
but
But we also got like people going from Jersey and coming into New York,
Yeah.
so that area is always jammed.
Yeah, that down. Yeah, so like you think about like George Washington Bridge, Lincoln Tunnel, all of that. Like those places, yeah. But like
Yeah, those
regular
are-
side streets be. Man, it just be traffic.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like to get from if I'm from the east side of Harlem, me from the west side of Harlem. If I want to get to his house at like 4:30, usually it'll probably take me about 10 minutes. It's probably gonna take me about 30 because of traffic, and it's like I could probably walk there in 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
That's why everybody walks everywhere.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Right, like you said, I'll be back. Like,
Like I just seen you talking, my boy.
My bad. We got through our first 20 minutes of the episode, and we're gonna slow it down because I just feel like we was just like gunning, and y'all did good. And I couldn't tell y'all was nervous. Y'all was just rolling with the punches. You know what I mean? So we appreciate y'all for that. But 5 black men coming together is not a thing all the time, right? And then to have 2 separate groups, 1Nation and Culture Content, like we kind of focus on the same thing, right? So I'm just glad that y'all here. Y'all was able to support. We able to support each other,
Yes.
right? I think that's the most important things for people to see. You know, like it is possible. Like I always
Definitely
think
know
about
it's-
that one more in Atlanta. They like within the last year, they just like all black people just open up one big mall out there, you know. And I know we're not opening the mall right now, but that's not to say it can't happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like this is kind of like the stepping stone. So, with all that to say, with everything that's going on, man, let's just slow it down just a little bit. Like, how y'all doing, man? As black men, how y'all feeling today? Because I feel like we don't ask each other enough. Maybe y'all do amongst each other, you know what I mean? Just like, yo, how you feeling today? Like, yo, what's going on? And then sometimes we kind of hold that stuff in regardless, right? So, what's up, man? Y'all, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm feeling good, man. Honestly, I'm feeling real good.
Feeling good?
Yeah, I'm
All right,
feeling
it's a
good.
nice Sunday, you know.
Nice sunny Sunday.
Yeah,
Nice
it's
Sunday,
definitely
right,
sunny
right,
Sunday,
right.
you know what I mean?
100%,
I'm
man.
definitely feeling good.
Yeah, I'm blessed. I feel like I'm in a good space. I'm here with you guys building.
Right, 100%.
It feel organic, you know what I mean? And like you said, it's a nice day outside, so ain't no telling what the world has for us once we leave. You know what I mean? But I'm blessed to be here, brother.
Facts. Appreciate y'all.
It's definitely going to be a major spin-off after this. We don't know what yet, but we're going to keep building. We're going to figure it out.
How you feeling, brother Lloyd?
I'm well, bro. I'm well. Can't complain. I'm not one to complain.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 'Cause It
They
can always
always-
be worse.
They always say if you complain, who listens, right?
Exactly.
You're right.
So, like, what
There's
you
that
complaining
part.
for?
I know my daughter Logan. Shout out to Logan. You know what I'm saying? She would listen if I could play.
Word.
It's always a little one.
Okay, how you feeling?
I'm good, man. Like you said, I got no complaints. I was late today, but you know, it's cool. You know, we rolling with it.
Yeah.
It could be worse, so I'm good. You alright, bro?
I'm good, man.
All
Definitely
right,
a beautiful day, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, off camera, I'm almost done with school. That was like, man, listen, going to grad school, I made a post the other day, going to grad school, working 2 jobs, raising kids, trying to run a business. It's not for the weak, man. It's wild, man. Like, I feel like I had some chest pains and like it was wild, but I'm almost done. So
don't have chest pains and sneeze. You know, take out your whole back.
Flat line, we don't want that. Still got more work to do though, but we out here. Appreciate y'all coming here, pulling up with us, and we was all kind of like, you know, a little late, but we making it work, and that's what it means at the end of the day. So we good. I'm good.
So, Kev, I'm gonna just throw this one out there. You're not from Carolina. I mean, you're not from Pittsburgh.
No, I'm from Charlotte.
You were born and raised there.
No, I'm born in Brooklyn, but moved to Charlotte.
Where?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Coney Island
Here we
Hospital.
go.
I love it.
Coney Island?
Yeah.
Coney
You
Island?
good.
Yeah,
Ain't no static. We don't do that no more.
Yeah, so I was born in Brooklyn, Coney Island Hospital. My family's all from Canarsie, though. But my mom.
Canarsie Piz?
Yeah, man.
So
Yeah, man. So my mom moved me down south to Charlotte, and then I was blessed to be there, grew up there.
Okay.
Amazing family.
I used to go with my uncle all the time to Canarsie Pier to catch blue snappers
Yeah,
and
they do that,
everything
man.
like
Yeah,
that. Yeah, that
man.
was, man, that's super nostalgic right there. That was when I was like young. I used to hate hooking the fish, bro. I used to hate the smell and everything, but afterwards, when them things was on the fryer, it was all worth it. It was all worth it.
Hard day's
man.
work, hard day's work.
For sure.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to my aunt too, because she was the only reason why I was out there. But that's dope, man.
Peace be the journey, auntie.
Yeah,
yes,
man.
sure. Thank you for that, bro.
Yeah, bro.
So, how did you connect the dots for us one more time? My bad.
So I'm from Charlotte. I ended up going to school, went to Salem State University. While I was there, so I didn't have a father kind of growing up, right? And I never had a mentor, so my first dude that was older than me I looked up to gave me my first skill. So from that, I just always was involved in the street, loved meeting people, loved building, networking. So I was always moving like that, making things right. When I went to college, I took that same mentality with me. Unfortunately, you're in a different setting. You kind of don't know everything that's going on around there. You end up getting caught up, end up having to sit down. And during that time, I had the opportunity to come to Pittsburgh because my uncle knew somebody that could help me get in school up here. So as I transferred up here to kind of like get into a new environment, just because my network down there was different. You know what I mean? Like, although I knew dope people, amazing people, a lot of them were still connected to some of the wrong things. So he knew by me just getting away, he knew that my ability, my mindset, and my skills could help me get to another level. He's like, nah, get away from there. Come here for a second. And I was blessed he was able to pull me out of that, because once he did, I was able to meet so many dope people that it helped change my life forever, man. You know what I mean? So I'm truly blessed for those who played a part in my path and those who helped me get here. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah, environment would definitely play a big part in like just how you move in life in general. You know what I mean? So just real quick, you mentioned influence, right? So that was the person you would say influenced you. So I know you guys influence a lot of young adults. So who influenced you, Sam, and Brother Lloyd? Like who were some of the people that had a big impact on your life?
I would definitely say my pops. I mean, my pops is the man. Like, he's the man, and he was a great father to me. He showed me what family is about. He showed me the role a man should take in a family. But I also watched him be a father figure to a lot of other people. You know what I mean? Just people in the city, whether it was kids he was coaching or just kids in the community. He was always at the school. You know what I mean? And it was something that I took for granted and was kind of like, not embarrassed about, but it's like, when your dad is the only dad that's around all the time, it's like, I mean, it's a little weird feeling at times, but
did some of the kids not resent you for that, or do you know?
I think I would say, I don't know for sure, but I think so. I mean, like as an adult thinking back on it, I think so.
I think I ain't gonna lie, I would feel some type of way, like you know what I mean? Just because and it's not it's not that I don't like you or anything, but it's just like that you say, having that father figure in the home is just like, dang, his father came the last 3 events, you know what I mean?
That's what it's all about perspective. You know what I mean? Because me, I'm looking at it like, Dad, Pops is always around. And they looking at it like, I wish my pops was always around. You know what I mean? So, my biggest influence for sure was my pops.
Nice.
Shout out to Big Sam.
Shout out to Big Sam.
Big Sam.
My family was a big influence. I mean, I have an older sister. She's 5 years older than me, so she never got in trouble. And I say that, and I'm not like, no, she never got in trouble. So growing up, I didn't know how to get in trouble. I mean, I seen it, but she never brought none drama to the house, so I never did too. You know what I mean? But I was lucky enough to grow up in 2 neighborhoods where I had older individuals that wouldn't let me jump off the porch because of who my family was. I mean,
What's those 2 neighborhoods?
Bell Silver and Knoxville. You know what I mean? And they really don't get along. They didn't get along. You know what I'm saying?
Southside, though,
yeah, it's
that's
like
crazy.
across the street
Yeah,
type of
yeah,
thing. You know
yeah.
what I mean? But I was able to be in both neighborhoods. You know what I mean? And be good. But even connecting with my brothers over at Central Catholic once I get into high school, because like 8th grade, that's when a lot of things changed. You know what I mean? Within friends, like they wanted to.
People start going one way, and you had to make sure you go another way.
So don't freeze over that. Just might as well talk about it, because you know that's one of my questions. It's like, what was that transition for you? You know what I mean?
I ain't like getting in trouble. I didn't. It's not. What are we talking about? Like, my mom's upset. Like, everybody's mad. I don't like this feeling.
right.
I'm not getting in trouble. You know what I'm saying? It's that simple for me. It's that simple. I'm not getting in trouble. But I was able to not be in those environments. You know what I mean? And when I went to Central Catholic, out of my graduating class, 220, only 11 was African American males.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And out of those 11, 8 was in my wedding.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it's a brotherhood, but we was smart and we was cool, and that was okay, and that was my norm in high school. Like,
that's good though, because a lot of people feel like you got to be riff-raff and do all this dumb stuff, and then not do your academics. Like it's okay to be
Those be
fly,
the broken ones.
right? It's okay to be fly. It's
Don't
okay to be
get nowhere.
smart. It's okay for all of that. Like I don't understand. Like I don't know this generation, or I mean even our generation
Our
at the
generation
time.
the same way,
You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. You know, for whatever reason, like you got to be like an asshole basically, like for you to be popular. Like that don't make no sense. Like you can be all you could be. You could be academically good. You could be fly. You could do all of that without being looked at as a square. Like that's crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know where that mindset even came from, but
I think it's just peer pressure in general. You know what I mean?
Well, that's
Kids
lame.
are
That's
treated-
lame. That's hella lame,
I think
though.
it goes back
It
to
is
the
true,
identity
though.
thing. Like,
It is.
Identity.
even
facts.
not knowing, like, if you don't know who you are, it's easy to be something you're
Right,
not.
right,
You know what I mean?
right,
So
100%.
I think that goes back
Start
to
quoting
it.
other people
Yeah,
and all that. Like,
I'm
that's
not
not
tearing
really
over test scores in 7th grade. I'm in the 99th percentile.
Yeah,
I might
like,
know
ain't
what it
nothing
meant
wrong
back
with
then,
that.
but I'm like, my scores is kind of high. You know what I
But
mean?
that goes back to one of the important pillars of our program, identity. Again, who are you and how do you know? Because sometimes we think we are somebody because we rap one time. Now I'm
You literally wrote
NBA YoungBoy.
You spit an 8-bar verse. That's a chorus. Like, not even nice. So you about to. Come on, like, that's crazy. Like, I have a lot of I work with the youth too, right? So, worked in CIS and work at Pittsburgh Public School. I have a lot of kids that actually is kind of good in rapping. You know what I mean? Is kind of good in athletics. You know what I mean? But I feel like when we talk about the support, they don't have the support as well. But I don't know. Some of these kids have I call it delusions of grandiose. They think bigger than what their hard work and everything really talk about. You know what I mean? So you want to be good, but you don't have the work ethic. Your work ethic is piss poor. You know what I mean? You have $1 million dream with a $2 work ethic. That don't make no sense.
No, and I think another thing that has happened inside of education, right? We go to college and we go through high school with the thoughts of only having one major. Like, hey, I want to be a scientist. I want to be a doctor. Boy, you can be a doctor, a lawyer, a scientist. You can be all those things you want to be.
Yeah.
But I think the culture has tricked us into believing that we got to do one thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, boy, you supposed to be able to build a house.
Right.
About we think, no, I'm only good in this. No, we're good in everything.
Right, exactly.
But if we only believe we're good in this,
That's what we focus
that's what
on.
we focus on.
We all sitting here like common folks. We all kind of unicorns in the black community. For real. Like we all like you just said, like you can be more than just one thing, right? Like I do a lot, y'all all do a lot. Y'all all have individual things y'all do. You got a lot of stuff. Like that's not something that's like celebrated enough in the black community. You know what I mean? Like we looked at as one trick ponies. We're only supposed to be able to run, jump, steal, all that crap, right? But nah, we using our brains to do make things better. You know what I'm saying?
And they'll be
Inspire
surprised
people.
when you know like real estate and then you know like education.
Stocks,
Like,
you know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
You know
They
what I'm
like, what? Yeah, you
They want
got
you
to
to
be
be in
well
the
versed.
box.
Yeah, like take me out of that. ASAP.
Shameless plug.
Yeah.
July 29th, we will have the 1Nation Sneaker Ball. Again, this year you guys need to be there. Black excellent, city excellent,
Fifth
Pittsburgh
annual.
excellent. You know
Fifth
what I mean?
annual, yeah.
We know. We saw.
Yeah.
I saw all the
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I'm definitely going to this.
No,
And I actually we seen a couple people already that for me to know people in the city is just like, oh yeah, you know somebody I know, but I saw a couple faces that I was familiar. And I was just like, I was showing him, he was looking at it like 2 weeks ago.
I definitely know a lot. They definitely seen a lot. Like,
we got to get to this event. I'm like, how have we not heard about this event? Like, so we going to definitely be there. Sure. So who got the most kicks, the flyest kicks? Like who? Let's do it.
I know where I'm at. If it's a 3-legged race, listen, I just got fashion forward. I just started wearing rips in my jeans. You know what I mean? So I'm cool. I really tried to scale back as far as the simplistic. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But these guys be fly though, bro.
Okay. Nah, I just want to hear, friendly competition. So yeah. So anybody's closet, you know what I mean? Who got more? I'm just saying.
I don't know.
Maybe exclusives? No?
He got those exclusives.
All right, so I want to make this a little complicated. Who had the best fit at the 4th annual?
Yeah, who had the best fit?
See, I like it. They not even going forward. I was 1Nation around.
Hold on, okay. You know what you're doing, cross production. You know you got to put that right there. Boom.
Yeah. Everybody got their own style.
Yeah,
everybody got their
sure.
own style.
So how did that come about? Because I love the style, but then I said, all right, we're going to rock out with some kicks. Like, who's out there? Or how did that
It was just a collaboration of thought. We do so many different things together. We were thinking about, we need an annual fundraiser that people can really begin. Because people knew what we did, but really didn't know what we do.
Right,
I know y'all help kids, but and people always wanted to support, but didn't know how they could support. So my thing is, we beat through part in the past. So how can we bring people together for the right cause, right? To rally behind our kids, but how can we also make adults feel a little bit uncomfortable being comfortable like we ask our kids to do every day?
Right.
Yeah.
Which is why we say, hey, throw on a suit, throw on a gown or a dress, but wear tennis shoes. Be a little bit uncomfortable while we become comfortable.
That's definitely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, imagine you go to a whole job interview with a 3-piece suit with some forces on. What you doing? Like,
NBA players do.
It's more socially acceptable now.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely
socially
way more
acceptable.
socially acceptable for
But
sure.
y'all didn't follow the trends. Y'all did what y'all wanted to do. You know what I mean? Like you said, we don't care if it was socially acceptable or not. Like, this is the path we taking.
Yeah.
And I think that's a message. If anything, I mean, I hope y'all learned a lot, but like, stop following trends. Be your own trendsetter. Like, because it's not gonna help you unless you trend setting and everybody's doing constructions or going to college. Yeah, like that's a good trend. You know what I mean? But like, I'm talking about the negative trends. Like, get out of those habits, man. But yeah, that's dope. We gonna be there, man.
For sure.
So I got a question. So y'all spoke about everybody know what y'all do and what y'all do and everything. And y'all need funding. So my understanding from research, y'all are a nonprofit, right? I want you to talk a little bit about that nonprofit and how that process works, and what's the intricate details that makes you that's your niche for how you raise money and stuff like that.
Right. So basically, the nonprofit scene is you have to complete your 501c3 to become nonprofit recognized by the IRS, and that's either between a 2 to 6 month process.
Okay.
Really, just doing the work, whatever you're trying to do, you have to identify with the IRS codes, and if they think it's tax exemptable, then they'll say, hey, we think that's tax exemptable. You can't say, hey, I only sell t-shirts. They'll say, now you're a for-profit, pay your taxes. We'll see you at the end of the year.
Right.
But when you're nonprofit, you're saying, hey, we're not keeping any of the money. All the funds and donations that we receive is all going back to charitable causes and going to support whatever we said we're going to do when we wrote it in our packet, which is ours is supporting youth development and just providing safe spaces for our youth.
So at the end of every year, you have to spend your budget.
Yeah, and that's the crazy part about it. So again, I tell everybody, I'm gonna tell y'all too. So many people want to create nonprofits. It's dope. You can't ask for money to do things, but if I can make a T-shirt and sell a T-shirt for $10 and I can make $1 million, I would rather have $1 million of my own money to be able to take kids to college tours and things, rather than having to ask for $1 million just to give it out. And there's no telling if I'm gonna get the $1 million again next year. There's no telling if the kid is gonna take that experience to heart and make something from it. So again, the for-profit route is cool, but if you can make some money to make it different, that's the way I would tell people to go, because you aren't worried about anybody else. You're funding your own dreams.
Right.
Is there a way? My bad, this is off. But is there a way you can put your company into like a trust or something like that?
Yeah, you
and
could
have
do that.
Different
But all nonprofits also can have a social enterprise, and that's something that you do that can bring funds back into the organization. So you could have a nonprofit that sells, you might have a nonprofit focused on domestic violence, and you may say, hey, you might have a T-shirt with a slogan on it to support that cause. You can do something like that.
Okay, that's dope.
So does your organization, do you have like a team like you have accountants, you have lawyers, board of directors. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we have a board of people who love to support our work, who we can call on to and tap into certain resources for us. We also have an accountant who makes sure that all of our funds are not only tracked, but that because with the nonprofit money, the IRS is a little bit different. They want to make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be by the penny. So she makes sure that she keeps everything in line for us. And we also partner with a law firm. Okay. We also partner with mental health therapists to support. We have a lot of community partners because again, we want to make sure that we do what we do well,
Right.
and everything else that we need support with. We don't want to say, "Hey, let's do it too." Although we can do everything, we want to make sure that people who specialize in certain spaces, we support them too. Because again, we're trying to build an ecosystem for Black people.
Right.
So not just how can we do everything? No, you're an accountant, cool.
Right, bring you in.
Yeah, we got you. It's cool. We got you because again, we understand the importance of relationships, and they go past the dollar. So if one day we don't get $100 to make his kids have opportunity to eat, you might be like, yo, bro, I still got you with this service. Let's keep building because you know we're coming back.
Right.
And that same partnership is then the kids see that too. You know what I mean? Like you really can't go through life solo.
Yeah, you
know what I
can't.
mean?
I mean, you want to be a lone ranger, but like you still gonna need a team. You still gonna need people that you can rely on and trust.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because you can't just do it.
So
by
do you
yourself.
only work with only Black businesses, or y'all just open to anything? That's just the
No, we work.
Work with everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
But a lot of the people that we work with are Black businesses.
As far as our like contractors.
Okay, yeah, that's what's up. That's what you mentioned therapy.
Yes.
Tell us more about that. So you have someone. Well, it's not. I want you to tell us about the importance of therapy, not just about having them on your team, but what was the idea of even bringing a therapist along? Explain the issues with young adults' mental health. Why our community needs a therapist. Like I have a therapist. I haven't seen him in about a year. I did the calculations, but definitely need to go back and see him. But like, when I went to the therapist, it just broke down a lot of things that I didn't understand, right? And you think, like you said, you got it all figured out, but you don't. But just tell us your thoughts about it, why it's important, and should we seek help, and everything like that.
I know one angle I have on your question is that I use this session, the Leader in Me classes, or the time that we have for therapeutic reasons for myself. If I'm going through something, I'm able to share with a group of young men, like, hey, bruh, like, this is my cousin's death day. You know what I mean? And these are the feelings I have, and be able to just bounce it off of them so they can see us vulnerable. And I think that's really important, though, too, as far as that therapy, because somebody's dealing with something in this room, you know what I mean? And I use the transparency of my own feelings to really shed light on what I'm going through, but also someone, hey, but look, I talk to you. You know what I mean? After class, something like that, you know what I mean? So that's my angle on the therapy. You know,
That's
how I use that.
That is dope.
For my own personal gains, you know what I'm saying?
It helps though for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Nah, yeah, you need to, like you said, that vulnerability, and it helps you build. It builds that trust, between the kids. So,
And now in our classes, we were teaching the kid coping mechanisms anyway.
Right.
How to deal with stress, how to deal with certain things, and we saw it helping, but we knew that some of them needed an extra layer of support. So all right, where do you go? Yeah, we know. Yeah, it's therapeutic for us, but how can we really get them the support they need to where it can be consistent to really also help their families get through the social determinants
Why
of
not
health.
hire a professional? You know what I mean? That's something they do. So come on the team.
And we know that like everybody's not gonna feel comfortable with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
But you need someone to talk to. Like even if it's not a professional, you need to be able to have and feel trusted with someone you can get all that out to. Cause we holding a lot, especially as Black men. Like we holding a lot.
Yeah, and his point, and a lot of the time, we had a lot of kids who were killed at school. Basically, like where our kids were getting into shootout, and some of them wasn't making it.
Yeah.
The schools was sending out white therapists to talk to our kids, and a lot of our kids would come to our office just talking to us.
right.
So the therapists in the lunchroom, they got
They walk away and
right,
talk
and
to y'all.
they're like got all these people supposed to come see them, and they're just sitting in their office all day, just sitting there. Brother Kev, da. So we like, nah, we need people who
Look like us.
who can connect with our kids, who our kids want to connect with, and that kind of made us do our work and just think about what we needed to do for the
Yeah,
organization.
my therapist is Black too. I didn't say that. But most importantly, I think that it shows kids like, yo, you don't have to project negativity into the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you're going through something, like even when you're talking to them, like, look, I'm just talking to you. I'm not going in being reckless outside, doing whatever. Like, converse, use your brain. You know what I mean? Use your communication to like talk through whatever you're going through, because that's the only way you're gonna get better.
Yeah,
So, yeah, that was great. So all right, so we last left off with talking about therapy, the importance of therapy. Just expressing our feelings, communicating. So I love that section, but let's get into like generational curses, right? We all have them. Whether I feel like we know it or not, you know what I mean? It's just a lot of variables within our own family history, right? And even down to like the way we eat, the way we talk, just keeping our heads on swivel, like all that's kind of like the generation. It works and benefits us, you know what I mean? But there are some generational curses that we should definitely let go of. So how do you acknowledge you have an issue, and then change it for the better, right? Like what is your recommendation or what is your thought process on that?
I mean, us personally, like
In your life, and then how you talk to the kids. You know what I mean?
I think the first step is acknowledging it, and I think that's the toughest part, acknowledging it, because a lot of generational curses we don't know we have, like, because it was the norm to us. Like simple things as small as like how you talk to your kids. You know what I mean? Like it might be normal for you to cuss your kids out, or I mean to say wild things around your kids, but for me that's not normal. But I know that because that's not the way I was raised. You know what I mean? So, but if I was raised that way, then to me it's normal, and that's something I'm perpetuating to my kids, and they're going to perpetuate to their kids. So I think it's small things like that. Like you said, the way we eat. Things like that. Like we don't know it. We just think we getting that good soul food. You know what I mean? We don't know what that good soul food is doing to the soul. We don't really know. We don't really know. So I mean, it's a lot of things. But I think the major step is acknowledging it. And then if you want that change, like, all right, what can I do to make that change? And just trying to keep that in the front of your mind. Like even if it's baby steps. Like I'm gonna try this one day. Like and that's what it is.
But what does that acknowledgement look like? Whether you're reading, whether you're experiencing everyday life, like what?
I think it comes from a multitude of things. Like it can come from reading. It can come from just experiencing life, just being around different types of people. You know what I mean? Like my norm ain't your norm, right? You know what I mean, and vice versa. So it's like, all right, I've been doing it this way, thinking it's the right way or the only way. Like they do it that way. Like maybe that's better for me.
Right. Let me just try it. See what happens.
Okay, so something I say to the kids all the time: you'll never, until you acknowledge your shoes untied, you'll walk around all day with them. You know what I mean? And some people's walking around all day with their shoes untied.
Right, 100%.
And so just acknowledging it, and I know personally, writing it down. You know what I mean? But what did you say you was gonna do? And you can't lie to yourself.
No, you
know what I mean? So just really acknowledging what you want to do, what you want to be in life, and going after it. You know what I mean? So not just acknowledging it, that's the first step. Think great in the program, but then you got to act on it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's the act great part of 1Nation, and then if you think and act great, you're going to be great. I mean, it just has to work like that. You know what I'm saying?
Love that answer though.
Okay. All right. So we know Pittsburgh right now. It's a lot of gun violence in the city. A lot of gun violence. From not just for the young adults, but adults too. You know what I mean? We from New York, it's gun violence over there. It's gun violence
Guns
everywhere.
is not even loud. I don't think.
It's different.
You know what I mean? But y'all carry. But my bad, I didn't mean to throw it.
So talk to us, like, what is you guys, do you guys have anything in motion or anything you want to do to circumvent some of the gun problems that's happening amongst the youth that you see in schools?
Yeah. So one thing we talk to the higher ups about is they can't expect us to change a 1,000-year gun issue on a 1-year grant, right? So that's the first thing we need to do.
At least stay honest about that.
Right, yeah. But we got to know that as well. Like, we ain't gonna be able to stop violence. We can curb some violence, right? But for us to really expect that we can stop violence, we're already behind the 8 ball. That's not even a realistic idea, right? So what we try to do is not only acknowledge what's going on. How do you feel, right? We try to address some of the issues that lead to gun violence. We try to show them different things they can do when they are upset, so gun violence isn't the only option. But we also take kids on what we call the path of a bullet, and we partner with
You said path of a bullet?
Yeah,
Okay.
we partnered with UPMC, and what we did was we took students to the hospitals and let them talk to the the surgeons.
Trauma surgeons. Okay.
We
So we be in a room.
Yeah, we're in the room. We put a kid on the
on the table.
on the gurney. You know what I mean? We put little stickers on them to show them that when you're hit, it's not TV. You don't just get hit and you pop up the next day with a bandage on your good. No, you're gonna have internal trauma that you have to deal with. You might hear doors slam, and your first response to look up. How are you gonna deal with
PTSD?
Right. You know what I mean? So we
Nerve
really try to
damage.
show them through exposure the reality of reality. Yeah, you hear it sounds good. Like, he got a Draco, he got a switch. But what's happening to him? Then after that, we bring family members inside the room to talk to him. And your kid isn't here no more. How do you feel? Look at him. I need y'all to see her face.
That's an experience.
Because this is what we're continuing to replicate when we go outside and we think we're standing on something that somebody else told us we should be standing on.
Right.
You know what I mean? We got to understand that. But I think we do a great job at identifying and understanding that we don't have all the issues, we don't have all the answers.
Right.
But we have a mindset to want to help. And we can make sure we partner with the right people to make sure that we show you and expose you to what the reality is.
Yeah, and unfortunately, sometimes that's just the only way we learn, right? It's
Yeah.
hands-on
Right.
experience.
Yeah.
You know, but at least y'all doing it in a way where it doesn't have to be the reality right then and there. You know,
Yeah.
but this is what it could feel like.
Yeah, it's
This is
a
what it
controlled,
looks
safe space, but you still
Exactly.
it's the reality.
Getting the real.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all keeping like 2,000 with that because
That's
the
deep.
fact that they can lay on a gurney and be like, all right, well, if you get shot here, this is gonna be how your life is gonna be after this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you say you're bringing in other families that were victim of gun violence, and they get to tell their story. So hopefully, between all the exposure you're giving them, they can be able to make different decisions. So I see how you curving it. Like you said, you can't fix everybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's impossible. But at the same time, the kids that you're touching, you be able to move them in a different way. So that brings us to like one of the big detention centers in Pittsburgh that's not here anymore, Schumann Center. What are your thoughts on Schumann Center closing?
I think it's crazy. I don't know how that's possible when it should be funded by the government. I do understand that there were things that they say were happening, but that means that y'all just need to put somebody else up there on y'all level that can mandate what's going on. But to close it, what you're now doing is you're just telling kids it's okay to do certain things because there won't be repercussion. Again, I can say that because I'm in the school with them, and kids will cut their ankles and, kid, I'm gonna go for a weekend, brother.
Yeah.
I'll see you. How?
Yeah.
Well, you know what you already did. You like to do this and do that.
Facts.
But it's creating false expectations for them because when they go outside and they do something for real, they're not getting out.
Right.
There's somewhere for you to go. If they can do things now, there's nowhere for them to go. As they matriculate into adulthood, they can be like, I might be able to do something because he disrespected me. It's cool, I can deal with that. No, you can't. You're not coming home.
Right.
You're not about to get an anklet. Boy, you want up, they're not letting you out.
Right.
So it's sad for me to see because I know how much rehabilitation is needed, but I also want to make sure that when it's brought back, rehabilitation is done the right way, not just housing kids, because that can happen too.
Brother, I love that answer. But Brother Lloyd, you said it's a systematic.
Systematic, yeah.
Let's talk about that real quick.
Because, you know what I mean? Like Brother Cavs just said, kids is doing stuff, and I'm not going to Schumann. I'm going to go back to the crib.
Definitely going home.
You know what I mean? So, but for them to, like, in our communities, when there is things that's working, we got to shut them down. You know what I mean? Like, because there was no backup plan. That's my thing. You did shut it down.
Yeah, right.
But what is this? This is the whole service.
The thought process was not there. You know what I mean? Because usually, if something shuts down, a big institution like that, you would hope to think, even if they didn't have something right then and there. It's been almost 2 years now. This has been closed, right? So it's like literally, what was your plan? So your plan was to let people run the streets all crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it seemed like to us.
That's
a lot
negligent,
more,
man. That's a,
You know what I mean?
And then you shipping them, like, where's the kids going, though?
Right.
When they kids that really do something, you shipping them out of town?
Yeah,
Even further away from family.
Yeah, exactly. So how is
like,
that even? I mean, that's not beneficial for no one. So it's not by accident, especially when it comes to us. Ain't nothing.
Not by accident.
I just wanted you to say it.
For real, like because I worked in juvenile probation, and like even like right before, I think I left the CIS program in like 2021, and I think Schumann closed like shortly after that, and I was just remember they was telling the calling POs like, all right, well, get your kids out, they got to go other places, and another places around Western Pennsylvania is closed too, like a lot of like juvenile facilities too. So it's like, where are these kids going? So if you getting shipped out of state, how's your mom gonna come to you? Like you said, right?
Right.
How's she gonna, like, if they if you know, all right, I could take one bus to get to Schumann, walk up the hill, whatever. You know, I can go see my baby, right? But now they in Georgia, they in Texas, they in Florida.
Georgia and Texas that far?
Yeah, they send them out, right?
That's crazy. I was
They ain't
thinking
just.
Ohio.
It was they did Ohio for a little bit too, but you send them in all these places. It's like hours away. So how do you expect them to? Are you giving them? You ain't giving them no money.
No.
You know what I mean? Like you ain't giving them nothing. You know what I mean? It's like you on your own, and I think it's a sad situation. But I feel like also, you know, they trying to bring it back and taking polls and all these things. I'm just hoping everything's done the right way, and not just housing kids like you said, but add some rehabilitation programs for kids. You know what I'm saying? Give them something to look forward to besides being locked up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all you want them to not recidivism?
Yeah.
Right. You don't want them to do that, right? So therefore, you should put other things in place to help them not do the same garbage that made them get in there.
That's going against them. That's going against their
funding system.
Right,
Right.
but
which is crazy. Like, it's another
right.
game. Like,
and it is another game. And we
That's the business plan.
Right.
Right. Exactly. Like as sensible people, like that's what we should be doing.
Yeah,
but
right.
No, it's just every day. It's the school to prison pipeline. We tell our kids, listen, why y'all think this is happening? The adults who did this should be in jail.
Right.
It's negligence.
Because it's all, like we said, it's done by design.
Yeah.
It's not on accident.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh man, we didn't know what this was going to happen.
Right.
Somebody got paid. Somebody
you
getting paid and had to go to a meeting and say, we're gonna close it. They still have a job, but our kids are still out here. And again, like you said, there are no rehabilitation programs. When they go to Alabama and they come back home, what do they learn in Alabama?
Nothing.
So when they come back to the hood, who are they gonna get up with? The same people who they sit them down there. So again, what are we doing, or what are we implementing to change the system?
Because it would have been super dope if they closed the doors because of low numbers.
Yeah.
That's great. You know what I mean? Y'all just closed it.
Yeah, but you closed it.
Nah, man, by the time. Yeah, we shutting down Walmart, y'all.
Yeah,
Shut it down.
Because when you talk about shutting it down, the first question got to be what next.
Yeah.
So it's not like they didn't have the conversation about what was going
There's a
on
what
next.
next.
It was a what next.
Yeah.
We was whited out of the equation. It was like, all right, what next for them?
Yeah,
Y'all gonna
Straight
do
their
what
shoulder,
y'all
though. They shoulder. Ain't that crazy?
Like, yeah, it's not like, but no, it's messed up because, like you said, the kids are gonna go back to the streets.
Yeah.
And then I don't know why they don't do the rehabilitation programs, because we spoke about this like a week or two ago. But why don't you put stuff that they actually like to do? You know what I mean? Like, what's the harm in putting a studio or putting a basketball court? Like, I know we talked about like we don't want it to be generic,
Right,
but
right.
like at the same time, if it's gonna get them their minds out of the streets and going back to it, I'd rather give them 4 or 5 studios. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just so I can know you don't live. And
At the end of the day, these are still kids we're talking about.
Right,
They
right.
don't even
Kids.
know, like we said before, you don't know what you don't know.
No, exactly.
So you can introduce them to something that can really change the whole trajectory of their life.
100%.
But that's the importance of investment in community, right? When you invest in community, now the kids have things to do at home, so they're not going to jail. And like, oh shit, it's a studio in jail. Let me try to go back there. No, but I need to stay out because the way for me to be successful is by these avenues right here.
Right.
But if I don't got these, I'm gonna do what I know.
No,
We always do it. Yeah,
Sound
you know,
right.
it makes sense.
Right. It's messed
So
up.
it's sad. It's crazy.
So the educational system. So y'all talked about we know why these kids get in trouble, right? But let's talk about like why they're not interested in school, you know, and why is this like I show up to show up, or I show up to get fly. Is the school system, obviously the school system is rigged, so I'm not even gonna say it like that, but school versus trade, do you think that we should just set up these young adults to get into trades if we know that college may not be an option? You know what I mean? Start them off something that they could actually make money off of and see it's lucrative. So all that to say, school versus trade. What's your opinion on that?
I know, like, our approach is kind of summer for school. Like, some of y'all gonna go to school, some of y'all gonna go to the trade school. Like, everything's not for everybody. We kind of understand that. And we don't try to force either side on,
Right.
on a person. But the only thing we can do is introduce them to it. So every year we make sure we go and visit the Trade Institute of Pittsburgh.
Nice.
And they're really in there working. Like, they're really in there laying bricks. And a lot of them come out of that like, I had no idea about this. This is what I want to do in life. And to me, that's a win, like automatically,
That's
because
definitely a
it's a free program. You get paid to go there, and you're coming out with a dope job, like off the jump. Whereas college, we know we all went to college. I got my degree, and my degree has nothing to do with what I'm doing right now, and I'm still paying on that degree.
Yeah.
So
Nah,
I mean, our job is to introduce them to that other side, because I know if myself and a lot of my peers were introduced to that other side when we were in school, we might have took a different route. So.
And I think we try to expose them early, because we have some kids who don't know what they want to do, right? But when we take them to the trade, they say, "Nah, brother, kid, that was too hard. I can't do that." So when I go back to school, now you're really focused on school as an avenue to help me get to the next level, whatever that may be. So it's helpful in both ways.
And to go back to the first part of your question, there's no space for black men in education, regardless of students or educators.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 'Cause when we go into new spaces and we see staff, and it's like we just walking around. Who are you? Like you're the new basketball coach.
Basketball coach?
That's crazy, right?
No, we got it all.
You know what I mean?
I mean, like we could never be seen as educators in this space. You know what I mean? But we're seasoned vets. You know what I mean? So we know we can't fight every battle. So when I say like, oh no, we let them know what we here for. But that also doesn't mean that we're security.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh,
brother,
yeah.
can you get them boys?
Yeah.
Can you get them boys? You know what I mean? But as much as my kids as your kids. You know what I mean? Like, but just cause, so it's just really creating that space that's not there. And that's why it's so organic, and we get to be ourselves in those spaces. Because the kids, like you said, kids can see it. You know what I mean? But it's really creating them spaces for black men to be comfortable in education is what we try to really promote. You know what I mean? Because we walk in, we all tatted up. I wear my fronts every day. You know what I mean? I'm Brother Lloyd, and they say Lloyd, and like, no, you gotta say brother. And it's really uncomfortable for other people to say brother. You know what I'm saying? But no, you gotta say it. You gotta speak on it. So.
Yeah, we should just get used to that, calling each other brothers. Just bros. I don't even care if you know me or not. Bro, I got you.
You know, I do say good brother a lot though.
Yeah, good brother. Yeah. I try to just like, if I saw one of y'all, don't know y'all, just a head nod.
Right,
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not that long go away. Like, yo, we good, bro. I see you, you see me.
And the brother thing came from, I used to work at Community Empowerment Association. It's a real Afrocentric, you know what I'm saying, organization, been around 25 years in Homewood. I was a truancy officer.
Okay.
But everybody went by brother or sister. You know what I mean? Because when I'm meeting a kid for the first time, I don't want to seem like an authoritative figure in their life. You know what I mean? But you call me brother, I'm already part of your family already. You know what I mean? So it's really just connecting with them on that level with it. You know what I'm saying?
Love the mindset, man. You gotta shift your mindset to make something change, man.
So y'all work in the schools. Tell me about some of the biggest challenges you have. It could be either from staff, or it could be with the kids, or just everything in general. Tell us some of the biggest challenges you have. I want everybody to kind of speak on this.
So I think one of our big challenges is when people see our relationship with the kids and they don't get that same type of response or
they don't get that same love.
They don't get that
They
same
don't-
love.
they ain't love- they ain't
Their
love
words
Paul
don't
Pierce
hit
like
hard
they
like,
love Kobe.
I mean, their words ain't hitting like our words hit with them. You get some kind of resentment and pushback from that. And like you said, we're seasoned, so we kind of know how to navigate in those spaces and how to, like, we really ain't worried about it, but we know it happens. And it was definitely something that took me by surprise early on in our roles in the school. Like, we all got the, or at least I thought we all had the same, we here for the same reason.
Yeah, to better our
Right.
youth, but some people got different agendas.
Right, exactly. So that's definitely been one of our, I ain't gonna say the biggest, but it's something we definitely got to deal with.
Yeah, every day. I'm gonna add on an extra layer of that, and it's just people seeing all the black kids as our kids. And again, they are our kids, but all the kids are our kids.
Right.
So if you're a white teacher and you say, "Hey, brother, Kevin, a black kid skipping class," did you tell him to go to class? No.
Right.
Well, all right. Why? First, I don't even know him.
Why you telling me?
Go to class, my boy.
Yeah, right.
All right, I got you. Again, you could have done that.
Right.
But when you don't see these kids as your kid, it creates additional layers of disconnect that can happen. And then from there, he could have talked bad to you. Now he can look at me and be like, "Nah, I don't know him," and try to talk bad to me.
Right,
and that's their relationship and our negative rift in our relationship. Again,
Yeah, you
we
even build it yet.
but we have to see all the students as ours, regardless of the situation.
Right.
That makes it harder for us to just walk past somebody and put your head down, or not talk bad about them. Oh, I seen Brother Sam's kid skipping class. Well, did you tell him to go to class? No. Why not? So I think that once we get to a place where we all can be on the same page
Right.
and build from love, it'll be easier for the school to grow.
Right.
Right now, everything's kind of stagnant because people come into the space with their own intent almost.
Yeah, so the leadership got to be on the same
Yeah,
page
right.
in order for it to reflect or pour over into the kids. So yeah, that's also another big problem. Yeah, probably don't even really think about on the day. Like I'm fighting with these kids, and then my other peers too. Like man, we thought we all wanted the same thing, but that's crazy.
What's some of your biggest
Challenges, man. Not really just focusing, just having that space, being a black educator in the space, but just knowing the pain that our young people's going through. You know what I mean, on a day-to-day basis, and they got to focus on geometry. You know what I mean?
Right.
Meanwhile, it's crazy outside. You know what I mean? So when
It's
they
hard
hurt,
being
we
a black
hurt.
man every
Yeah,
day.
literally. Like, and
So
it
those
don't
days
stop. Yeah, it don't stop. So knowing that they have so much pain, but some don't even know they're in pain. Like some don't even know it's raining.
Nah, for real.
You know what I mean? Like, but the rain lets me know I'm living. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like pain, but it lets me know I still have feelings. You know what I mean? And I always look on the opposite end. So it's just being a black man in education, bro. It's not for the faint of heart. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Because you can be ostracized.
Yep.
People can feel like
It's
Brother
lonely.
Sam said, you know what I mean?
Let me throw one more in there, because I'm reading culture content. Man, we live in the content culture.
Yeah.
That is killing our kids. No, bro, kids only do stuff for content. So you might have kids.
Social media life.
So you might have somebody like, yo, and we have Snapchat, we have Instagram in class. So you might have a kid say, hey, meet me in the bathroom to fight. You go in the bathroom, it's 1,000 phones in the air like this. You know what I mean? But everybody's trying to record something like, yo, I'm the one recording this. You know what I mean? Somebody will say, hey, I fought him. So now he's soft. So everybody's going to record everything to show who they think they are. It's just sad. But the content, them wanting content on their pages is crazy.
Yeah.
And because of it, it's all negative content for the most part. Not, I got A's, I made honor roll. No, I spun on him. He ran when I put on the block. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Unfortunately, that's all people like is violence, sex, money, drugs, right? Like that's just Cameron.
Right.
Pull that out of the.
But that's not an accident. It's conditioning.
Nah, for
That's
real.
what was
Definitely
thrown in our
conditioning.
face for so long. It's like, what else am I supposed to like?
I remember
the
before.
recording part is
Crazy.
killing me,
It's
though.
crazy.
I remember before when YouTube, like when YouTube first came out, like the old box, like you remember how the YouTube sign is, but I remember like YouTube 07 when you used to upload videos. It couldn't have had guns, it couldn't have had cursing, it could have had a lot of stuff in it. But now it's like you be like, yo, what the?
It's free
What is
game.
this on?
Yeah.
Everything's on YouTube. So something changed, and they changed it so they can have people do all the dumb stuff and put it online so they can get the likes. So everybody can be like, yeah.
It got
Keep
a little
doing
bit, got a little bit easier being a detective. Like,
That part, like
You're recording yourself and you're snitching. You know what I mean? You're snitching
recording your
yourself.
indictment. I'm about to go spit on him. Watch me do it. I mean, like for real.
The gun I'm using too. Look at it. Okay, cuz. Okay.
And then it'd be so many angles. They be having the whole 360 of the whole event. You know what I mean? So they know who did
They
what.
know it right there.
Y'all giving them everything. Y'all gave them the whole case, like just from the
You
beat.
don't even need to be a good lawyer no more. You just show the tape, like what we gonna say.
Frank was over there just recording. Pull up the other kid's phone, get his angle on it. Like you know what I mean? Like oh man, it's messed up. So we just spoke about the guns and everything, and just the fight in the social media. Do these how do you explain to these kids like how far they already behind the curve? You know what I mean in society. And you want to worry about fighting and going to the bathroom and posting on social media, when all reality is like we got a saying where it's like starting a million, right? Starting a million is it's a simple concept where our culture is always behind the ball, and other cultures they life insurance, they're set up for future. Their parents got funds and school funds for them. You know what I mean? So our goal is to put your siblings or your kids on that start at a million path, right, for life. So do they what's that conversation like? Obviously they can't realize how far behind, but how do you explain that to them? Like, yo, let's move this along further. Like, you need to speed this up, or you're gonna forever be in this space.
I think everybody get it at their time, right? Because I didn't get it when I should have got it. But if I wouldn't have got it when I got it, I wouldn't be here today being able to make a difference because I thought I was right. My grandma had Alzheimer's, so I'm thinking I'm hustling to help support her. When really she didn't ask me to do that. Right. You know what I mean? I told her to do that. So I think that just being realistic, having conversations, say, what do you want out of this? And then when they say, nah, but I want to be a second, all right, well, what did you post? How will this help you get closer to that? And it goes back to what he said about just listening to them. Once they're able to talk and we listen and we spit it back to them, now they can listen.
Right.
And when they're listening, they see how what they're doing is getting them close to what they want. And we got to take those small victories because, again, some people just won't, especially when I'm telling you to come to school, your mom is telling you, Brother Kev, he come to school because he likes you. As long as he pay my rent, he don't got to come to school. I know he do already. He don't got to come to school, Brother Kev. As long as he pays his bills, he's straight. It's a tougher ask. You see what I'm saying? So being realistic.
Right about the whole thing.
Yeah,
that's deep.
And we tell them to use us as examples. Like, we're never afraid to share our shortcomings with them. Like, we're never afraid to be real with them, so they understand and they know what we went through and what we go through in the life that we had and why we're in certain positions now.
Right.
So, like, use us. Like, use our mistakes.
You don't have to bump your head every time.
Nope.
You know what I mean? And my advice is, it's not because we're older or we're trying to just like supervise you. It's just like, yeah, we've been down this road. You know what I mean? And you can go down it too. But if you want to save some time, like,
There's a cheat code.
Here's a cheat code.
And it goes back to, like, what do you want to do? You know what I mean? Like, for instance, if a kid say, brother, I want to make honor roll. I want to get honor roll. But you're not turning in classwork or homework. I'm not saying you're not going to make honor roll, but it's going to be very difficult.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or I want to get an A in this class. Well, bro, you got a D.
Right.
And you ain't doing
And you ain't doing no work
for the last 5 weeks.
What if we say we want to get a C?
Right.
And let's see where that goes. Shoot for the A. Know what I mean? But what you saying and what you're doing ain't adding up. We just ain't gonna just keep talking about it.
Right.
Like, but you're not doing it, bro.
Right.
So tell me you don't want to be successful in school.
That's
That's cool.
Yeah,
because
you're being honest.
It's
Yeah.
you.
and we can help
But
figure it out.
but it's also you though.
Yeah.
It's not gonna stop me from being smart.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you don't want to be successful, if that's what you want to do, cool, bro. We still gonna love you. But you just can't tell us anything.
Yeah.
Right. And then you're gonna follow us. Eventually, hopefully, they get on that wave of positivity. You know what I mean?
Lean across the water. You can't make it drink. You can't. And I never knew what that meant. But can you imagine trying to pull a horse's neck and head down through some water? Highly impossible. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're going to get kicked or something. You know what I mean? I told y'all shout out.
No, it made perfect sense because you don't really think about the breakdown.
Yeah,
Of that scene.
I'm simple. And that's the other thing. We're simple.
Interview about you guys. Like I said, we appreciate you for coming. Anything y'all want the people to know?
Yeah. What's next?
Any final thoughts? Yeah. What's next? 5-year plan. Anything along those lines?
I'll throw a few things out there. What's next? Definitely stay tuned. Follow us on 1Nation Mentoring. .org, the website. Also follow our Facebook /1Nation Mentoring, IG 1Nation _mentoring. July 29th, put on you guys' calendar. We will have the 5th annual sneaker ball downtown rooftop. At the,
This is like the first announcement for real.
yeah, this is the first we got another one. You heard it here first. But we will be at the Pittsburgh Convention Center rooftop.
July 29th.
July 29th. And next for us, really, we're in a great space now. We also this year expanded to the Woodland Hills School District.
Nice.
So we're out there now trying to provide more support for our students of color and students. Period. We're trying to get
what
them.
they call Woody High, right?
Yeah. But no, we're actually in the middle school. One of the middle schools is Dixon STEAM Academy. Amazing school. Yeah. But we're trying to get into more spaces, but also do a trainer model, right?
Okay.
We can't be everywhere, but we know the impact we can have.
Trainer. That's what's up. Yo.
Yeah, because we can't be everywhere, but we know the impact we can have. So what we want to do is be able to give our good brothers the skill set, because we're building connection with those districts and those schools. How can we then place our brothers inside those spaces that have the same impact we're having? You know, when we know what we're doing, we know how to get some of the result. Now it's about how can we duplicate it, replicate it, and grow and have a bigger impact. Yeah.
Love it, man. Love it. What more could you ask for, man? Like we trying to give y'all everything after y'all gave us nothing.
Sound crazy.
Trying to give y'all everything, and these 3 brothers here just making it happen, man. I love to hear it though. I mean, like I said, I was looking forward to this interview. Like, respectfully, I love all our guests. You know what I mean? But I was just definitely looking forward just to meeting y'all. Like, once I looked y'all up, did some homework, I was like, damn, why didn't I know these brothers sooner? You know what I mean? But better late than never, man. And I think that we all the timing was perfect.
Yeah.
If anything, you know what I mean. If the reason why
Never
we
in a
had
rush.
to
What
wait,
about timing?
yeah, it was perfectly set up, man. And I just hope y'all loved it, man, as much as we did. So yeah, you got anything? You good?
Nah, I ain't got nothing, man. Just want to appreciate y'all for pulling up and making history.
All right.
Thank y'all for having us.
July 29th,
Yeah,
Super Bowl.
you
We
already know, man.
all gonna be in attendance. You know what I'm saying?
You already know.
Sure.
My man, brother Lloyd. You already know, bro. Yeah, so we love y'all, man. I'm Kay.
I'm Chaz.
And we got
1Nation.
You already know. Gang, gang.